Morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the morning show here on Stock Market TV. It's the best morning show in finance. I am Spencer Israel. We've got JC Parets. We've got Steve Strazza. We've got all of you watching on YouTube, watching on Twitter, watching on our site, stockmarketmedia.com. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Before we get to the show, a quick PSA. Did you know we are doing a documentary? Yes, we haven't mentioned it for a couple of days now, but we are deep, neck deep in editing all this footage. We sent Steve, we sent Sean, we sent Giancarlo to Asia for like pretty much the whole month of July to shoot this documentary about how people on the other side of the world trade and what we can learn from them to help us make money. If you want to sign up to get notified when these episodes go live and actually join watch parties with us as, you know, Strazza and Steve talk about all the stuff that did not make the final cut and hang out with them. I just put the that's the page what it looks like. I'll put the link in the chat. It's at the very top of the description of this video on YouTube. It's wallstreettoallstreets.com. Check it out. Join, sign up. We'll send you an email when each episode is about to go live, and then it'll go, and then it'll be the best thing that you see this year. I promise you that. So wallstreettoallstreets.com. Where's my URL? There it is. It's up on the screen, right there at the bottom. wallstreettoallstreets.com. All right, let's start the show. Where's my intro bumper? Come on now.
Good morning. Good morning. Today is the last trading day in August. What does that mean, Mr. Spencer Israel? What does that mean for me?
It means we get some hot, freshly baked, like just out of the oven, like they're still too hot to touch. You know what I mean? Monthly candles.
Underrated. Underrated.
Like they're
I don't
so
understand
hot.
what people's problem is.
They're so hot. You got to let them sit. You got to let them cool for a minute. You know what I mean? That's so hot.
Bullshit. We're already looking at them. I was looking at them yesterday. Strazza, I started cheating.
What looks good? I cheat sometimes.
Exxon. Why do you laugh? Exxon looks interesting.
I thought you would say uranium.
Nope. Although uranium probably does look good. I haven't looked at the monthly candlestick of uranium. Holy shit! Look at this thing.
Why are we doing this now?
Why are we doing what?
You know,
this is for tomorrow.
Because, Spencer, we are children and we can't behave like adults and we can't think straight on the day that we get new monthly candlesticks. It's too much to handle. Too much to handle.
First down month since February.
For what?
Major averages.
Oh, like S&Ps? Really?
Yeah.
See, I haven't looked at the S&P at the index candles yet. I've been good. I haven't been that bad. Wow, this is going to be the first. By the way, we don't know if we could rally and close green for the month. By the way, but yeah, first red close since February.
Well, we're on a 4-day winning streak. How high would we have to go today to close?
On S&Ps, we got to get to 45.88, and where are we now?
That's tight.
It's like 2%. You're not going to get it done unless you have a really big take.
Yeah, that's
all right. That's okay. That's okay. I'm not long S&Ps anyway, so I really don't give a damn. Underrated, guys. Underrated. Investors everywhere. If you listen to nothing I say ever, listen to me this one time. It'll take you 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes if you're obsessed like me. For normal people, 10 minutes maybe. You take the most important assets in the world, and the most important assets to me are going to be different than they are to you. Even me and Strazza think different assets are more important, right? So it's going to differ. Whatever that list is for you, just make it. Every month, at the end of the month, or at the beginning of the month, whichever way you want to look at it, you go through that list and you look at the monthly candlesticks, right? Because it forces you to identify the direction of the primary trend. It forces you. It gives you no choice. It's very easy to get lost in the weeds of what did the Dow do today? What did the Yellen say? What did this? Da-da-da. Once a month, you take a step back. You take a deep breath. Pour yourself a glass of wine and rip through those monthly candles. I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, there's nothing that I do throughout the year when it comes to market analysis that is as valuable to me and therefore to you, if you're here listening to us, as these monthly candlesticks. I'm telling you, like we joke about it every month, like ha 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 ha, JC gets excited about monthly candlesticks. There's a reason why I get excited about them. It's really, 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 truly that valuable. I'm telling you right now. Spencer tonight is going to go in there. He's going to shut himself in his office and he's going to look at monthly candles, right, Spencer?
I'll look at some charts. Sure. Yeah, I'll look at some charts. Although I'm going out of town in 2 days and I got a lot to do between now and then, so I don't know how much time I'll have. We'll see. I gotta get a haircut. You
can look at your weekly candlesticks when you get more time. The monthly candlesticks are tonight. Jerry Carey asking, what is the proper wine to go with monthly candlesticks? It really depends on the month. This month, I think you hit it hard. I think you go straight Bordeaux, left bank Bordeaux, at least 10 years of age on the wine. It's a big one, right? We're going into September, October. Summer's over. Go big or go home. Left bank Bordeaux, 100%. That's the move. Shall we look at the state of the markets, Mr. Israel?
I just want to say that the last day of summer is September 23rd. So we got like 3 weeks of
summer left. Boo. It's tomorrow, bro. Last day of summer, this weekend.
All right. I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules.
All right. So we are seasonally in a weak market period, right? This the first couple of quarters of the pre-election year tend to be great for stocks. This year was no different. In fact, the Nasdaq had its best first half to a year in history. And Q3 is supposed to be messy, and what do you know? So far it's been messy, but not messy destructive. I would argue messy constructive, Strazza. Right? Why don't you throw up the NASDAQ, S&P? These are weekly charts, so they're not complete yet. But just to put things in perspective, not destructive, more like constructive, Strazza. Wouldn't you agree?
Basing.
Flagging?
You're talking about just recently or all year?
No, well, basing all year, but just short term as we approach that overhead supply, right?
Yeah. Sure.
Not crashing from those levels, but kind of hovering around there.
This is pretty, I think constructive is the word, but it's just a healthy digestion of the gains from earlier in the year.
It's definitely more constructive than I would have guessed, right? I wasn't shorting S&Ps. I wasn't shorting the NASDAQ, but I certainly wasn't buying them. I'm still not buying them. I guess we got long Google yesterday, so I guess there's some kind of bullish tilt, but nevertheless,
I think the right term, JC, might be like, this is just a garden variety pullback. You like that?
Oh my God, I can't. Next time I see you, I'm going to punch you in the face. Can we move on to the next chart here? This one's interesting. This is Exxon Mobil. What do you think about this, Strazza?
Yeah, you're right about this one. I mean, look, for energy, you just want to find the right vehicle because some of these stocks are going to like vastly outperform others. Exxon's not going to give you as much juice as some small E&P or oil services name, but you couldn't ask for a better place to define your risk for a long entry. 100 is a key level too, so I like it here a lot.
And if Exxon's breaking out of a, check my math, 15-year base to new all-time highs, what does that suggest about energy and energy stocks in general? Is that bearish?
Exxon's the biggest one.
So if it's breaking out of a 15-year base, you think that's bad for energy stocks?
No, and I was looking at yesterday, ConocoPhillips. I'll get the chart. You keep going.
I
guess my point is what?
I was going to say, to me, this is really constructive, man. When you look at energy in general, nobody wants to talk about it. No one wants in.
there's a lot of good-looking charts in this sector.
There's a lot of good-looking charts. Why don't you punch up that Conoco? That Conoco looking beefy. You want me to throw it up? I got it right here.
I had it marked up. Could we do a trading view chart? Is that a crime?
No. Yes. Here, punch up here, right after the Exxon chart, Spencer, is the Conoco. Punch that up. Look at that.
Let me see. Yeah.
It looks like Exxon, but better, right?
Yeah.
Looks like Exxon, but stronger.
It is stronger. And I was even zooming in, like super zooming in, looking for a more tactical entry. Here.
It looks like Exxon, but stronger. I mean, it's really impressive.
It's been one of the stronger ones, but it's also like a large, integrated play. So it's similar to the Chevrons and Exxons of the world, which I like, because those have been, I guess we've had a little bit of outperformance here from oil services. And then, a few years ago, it was really E&P. But the whole way, the big names, like the large multinationals, have really been just as strong as anything, right?
Throw up the oil chart there, Spencer, so you can kind of put things in perspective. I mean, look at the strength that we're seeing in some of these energy stocks. And oil is still retesting those 2018 highs. Like, it's still hasn't really gotten going. A breakout into probably the upper half of the 80s, breakout above 85, I think would be solid for oil. Here we are hovering right around 82.5. Not terrible, up 1% today. But working on it, and if these equities are any sort of indication of what we should expect to see, man, I think energy, energy continues higher. I mean, I'm impressed for sure. Let's move on to yesterday's trade. Throw up the Google. Throw up the old Google. This, to me, very clean range. I know Jerry Carey's asking about a Google trade. 125 is a big level there. Key support. The target is those former all-time highs from the back half of 21. You're looking at about $150. So that's the next target. Quite frankly, I think we exceed those targets. But nevertheless, when we put on an options trade, we like using the strike price of that target. And that next target is 150. So the 150 calls going out all the way to March cost about $7.50. $7.50. That's a lot. It's a bit much for my blood. So $7.50. So
especially because the price target is not too far away at those old highs.
Well, right. Well, that's why it's so expensive, $7.50. If we would have gone out to the 160s, which is a 25 delta, it would have been much cheaper. But the 150s, which is those former highs, so I really like using that strike. We could sell we did sell the 125 puts for $5.50, right? So we're selling the 125 puts in March for $5.50, covering almost all of the call options trade at $7.50. So it's a $2 net debit in a bullish risk reversal for Google. Throw up the next slide there. $2 net debit. So long the 150 calls and short the 125 puts to help pay for those calls. Adam says, I suck at pricing options. Well, fortunately, you don't have to price options. It's priced for you. It just, look at the old options chain and you'll see all of the prices. So you don't have to price anything. Bullish risk reversal. If at any point, is Sean going to be here today? Spencer, are we having Sean on today to discuss this?
That's the plan. Every Thursday.
Love it. So we'll discuss it later on in the show, the thought process behind why this trade. So stay tuned. But we are long a Google March bullish risk reversal, long the 150 calls in March, short the 125 puts. I like it a lot. How about I don't know, I don't want to get a little ahead of myself here, Spencer Israel, but how about that UBS? Huh? Spencer Israel, very excited about European banks this morning. Never seen it.
No, that's not true. A few months ago, we were talking about these all these stocks, right? And we just haven't talked about them, I feel like, in a couple of months. But
listen, if Spencer Israel is excited about European banks, I'm excited about European banks.
So we talked about this back when these things were blowing up and the big banks were taking over the remaining, loan books of the banks that were failing. UBS got a crazy deal with Credit Suisse. So they just blew out earnings. They reported.
Wasn't it like the second best quarterly earnings in the history of bank stocks or something like that?
Listen, they just reported their highest profit ever. Net earnings came in at $29 billion, but almost all of it was attributable to $29 billion of bad will. The difference between UBS's fresh estimate of Credit Suisse's book value and the paltry.
Hold on. You're talking way too fast. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Can
you explain this to me like I'm 3 years old?
It's a gain on the purchase of Credit Suisse. They basically were giving these banks away, businesses away, right? So we talked about JP Morgan. Remember we talked about in March that bank that rallied 50-60% after buying the smaller bank that had failed? These were absolute fire sales. So the companies that were purchasing them made out like bandits. UBS just reported $30 billion in gains from its acquisition of Credit Suisse's business.
So, Steve, this is like a one-time thing, right? Or is this going to be an ongoing?
Time.
Yeah, one time. Okay.
It's just, they're adjusting their balance sheet.
So then how does this work a year from now? Like, or is it like a drop in year-over-year earnings? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, but analysts, it's easy to see. This is a big, extraordinary event that will be, X'd out of models and things like that.
So that whole theory of UBS having to, sort of withstand all these losses for the next 10 years, that's bullshit. It's actually the exact opposite.
What it is they paid $3.6 billion. They paid less than $4 billion for Credit Suisse, right? Think about that. Now they're saying ultimately that the company's worth, well, what would that math be? $34 billion, right? So they're taking a $30 billion markup.
I love me a good markup.
I love me a good 15-year breakout. I'll tell you that much. Look at this thing. I mean, but look, this thing was building for quite some time. We've talked about it for a while when we were long HSBC. I was looking at UBS.
Listen, this is one of the best looking bank charts out there.
Is it not the best looking bank chart out there?
There's some weird ones that are at highs.
There's some weird ones. What makes them weird? The fact that they're at highs?
They're like one of them's like Puerto Rican, I think. We'll find them. I'll bring them tomorrow.
There's a Puerto Rican bank that looks better than UBS. Send that one over to me. How about financials? Throw up the interactive brokers chart here, slide 12.
So good.
Strazza loves this one.
Yeah, I mean, what's not to love?
Well, the last couple of days is not to love. It looks pretty nasty. No?
What happened?
I don't know.
What are you
More
talking
sellers and
about?
buyers?
What are you talking about?
What do you mean? What am I talking about?
Looks pretty nasty. What's
the last
nasty?
couple of days? The last couple of days were a little nasty. I'm just saying.
Okay. I don't see it.
You don't see that the last couple of days are a little nasty? All right.
Nope. I would call that constructive.
Oh, would you now? Sounds like someone's talking their book. Do I have that right?
Maybe.
And then before we bring in Mr. Blalock, very excited to hear from Neil. Haven't seen Neil in a minute. Can we talk about the old Bitcoin? Why don't you throw up slide 9 there where you can see Bitcoin prices holding that 25,000 level. Speaking of looking constructive, looks constructive, no?
Yeah, would have been nice to see a little follow through. No, would have liked some follow through. Not gonna lie.
After the initial thrust on Tuesday, you're saying?
Yeah,
haven't seen it, right? But it hasn't really sold off yet either. And then when you look at the mining stocks, Mara was up 30% on Tuesday. It was flat yesterday, right? I thought that was pretty impressive.
They hung in. Yeah, I thought
Riot too.
I thought they were looking like they wanted to go too.
You want to go where?
Higher. They had some long lower shadows. Were rallying.
They were all flat. Coin, MSTR, Mara, Riot. They were all flat. Like that's.
I was.
And ARC was green yesterday.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
What's not a good thing?
Not a good thing, Spencer.
That Bitcoin is flat on a day when most everything else was up.
It was up 6% the day before.
I mean, look, Bitcoin is still Bitcoin. You know, it's not in ARC. It's not an ARC stock. They're both just speculative assets.
But they moved together, and ARC was up yesterday.
I wouldn't overthink it. Again,
All right.
after a big day like that, would have been nice to see a tack on, another day or two of gains. But we'll see. I think.
I'm
Listen,
just saying they were flat the next day after like historic gains on an intraday basis. No?
we'll know this weekend.
All right.
Labor
You
Day,
think
right?
on a
Spence?
Labor Day, you think we're going to get fireworks on Labor Day weekend? I don't know.
Strazza, what did I say on Tuesday? If we hung around 27, like mid 27, I would buy it into the weekend. Let's give it to the end of the day today, and then I'll buy.
No volume, little liquidity.
Yeah.
This whole week, you don't want to overthink much, right? It's not even about Bitcoin. It's not even about ARK.
I was just thinking about.
Nobody who matters is working.
Oh, stop it! That's not.
What
nice.
do you mean? Oh, stop it! You worked at hedge funds forever. Tell me.
All right.
Strazza used to call this parking lot season because you get better parking because all the
Right
traders.
up front. Yeah, right up front.
Should I bring Neil on?
Bring them on.
All right, Neil Blalock in the house. Let's do it.
Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
Mr. Blalock, my man.
Oh God!
Somebody unmute him. Somebody unmute him.
No!
Oh,
Wait.
Spencer, help
Okay,
help
hold
this
on.
guy out.
This happens every so often. Neil, just
Oh.
check the little settings gear
Oh.
in the middle of the screen. There's a little.
Listen, he's a
settings gear.
good-looking guy. You know, it's when he opens his mouth that it starts to happen.
There we
There we
go.
go.
I'm just wondering if I'm in the right place here. We're talking European banks, balance sheets, analysts. I mean, who is Strazza? Who are you? Who are you
Who
people?
are these guys? Who are these guys?
Good morning, fellas.
He lets me
Oh.
talk about fundamentals. It's we have a good time.
Excellent. How's everybody doing today?
We're good, man. How-
Fantastic. How's Mizzou treating you?
Excellent. Excellent. The hot state of Missouri, a little over 100 degrees for about 2 weeks in a row until last week. So nice to have a break.
Wow.
How are the farmers doing? Are they doing a lot of
well,
farming?
I'm not talking to them right now. I've had a little change in my career path.
So I heard. So what? You just like shunned the farmers now?
No, actually, I'm going a different path to be able to help them in a different way now. So
Okay, so why don't we start there? So in the old days, what did you do for the farmers? And now what are you doing for the farmers?
Well, so I was a commodity broker for about 18 years. So I did a lot of hedge business for the farmers, managing the risks for their crops, soybeans, corn, and wheat. And over the past year or so, I've transitioned into the RIA space. And now I took a new position with a firm, Prevail, Innovative Wealth Strategies. And I'm a new wealth advisor. So
Are you not helping them at all?
I'm no longer
Hedge,
doing
or can you
hedging.
do both?
I'm not doing hedging business anymore. I actually got rid of my Series 3 and it's Series 65 now with wealth advisory. So I'm going to be looking at their whole portfolios now and trying to help them manage even more of the risk, because you know how farmers are. They're, cash poor and land rich.
I don't know how farmers are. I don't think I know any farmers.
Well, I mean, if you drive around the farms in the Midwest, you'll see them all in brand new $70,000 pickup trucks and brand new $300,000 combines. So they're not poor.
What's a $300,000 Columbine? What is that?
Combine.
What is a combine?
Giant property. Jeez.
Chase.
Like a property?
Yeah.
I'm a city kid, dude. I don't know anything about farming.
You got Google.
Combine, I think like the NFL, like the thing that they do before the draft. I don't know.
Combine gets the crops out of the ground.
So I have a
Combine
question.
it's a truck. It's a machine.
It's a machine. It's heavy machinery. Yep.
It's called a combine.
Yep.
Huh.
Yep.
So they don't do it by hand. See,
They used to.
that must have taken a long time.
It probably did. Maybe it's wonder why they had people working for them. Or
We hand harvest our grapes. I know about that kind of farming.
Yeah, and you have people harvest and cut them yourself by hand.
Yeah.
Yep.
But when you're doing like corn and beans and stuff like that, it's just too much.
Yeah.
Especially
Speaking
when
of
they're
that,
acres and acres.
Speaking of that, how's your grapes look this year?
I haven't seen them, but my understanding is that they're looking pretty good. We're on our third vintage at the old Chateau Fibonacci.
Yeah, I guess you lost my address. I keep waiting for my case to arrive that you've
My
promised.
dude, the 21 vintage is still in barrel. It's not even close to being done. It's been in barrel now for 17, 18 months. So we got another 6 months at least in barrel and then another 6 to 9 months in bottle. So you're not getting it anytime soon.
Well, bring me out there. I can barrel sample.
Go. I'm not stopping you. Go to Napa. Let me know before you go so I can hook you up and you can go barrel sample. That's fine.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So Neil, I got a question for you. Now that you don't have to look at commodities markets, or at least as much, like you just mentioned. What do you do when you get to your desk in the morning? What are you looking at? Like, what are you watching?
Now I'm looking at equities, bonds, and right now I'm, trying to build up a client base and, doing a lot of work.
Do you still like kind of take a peek at corn futures? And
every morning I can't help it.
You can't help it.
Yeah, I can't help it. Actually, I think the last time we spoke on Technical Analyst Radio a couple of years back, I called for a commodity boom in late 19, and that kind of came to fruition.
Yeah, a little bit. So I can't help but ask, like, what are we doing with these sugar futures?
I don't look at any of those anymore. Gosh, let's take a look. Sugar
futures, man. I got to tell you, all the sugar stocks, all the stocks that kill people, like all the, like Mondelez and all these other things, they're just doing great.
Yes, they are. No, I know nothing about sugar futures besides what I put in my coffee.
They don't farm sugar in the Midwest.
Negative Ghost Rider.
So it's just corn and beans. Is that it?
And wheat.
And wheat too.
Yeah. Nope.
What's the breakdown between? Is it like 50% corn?
Oh yeah, the farmers like to rotate between corn and soybeans. Keeps their land fertile.
And then wheat, sort of smaller.
Wheat's more in Kansas. Yeah. A lot of people do double crop too. They'll plant wheat in the winter and it'll come up in the spring and they'll harvest that by June. And then they'll plant soybeans in the same land and not harvest that till October or November. So kind of get a double bang for your dollar there on their land.
This farming thing is wild, man. It's wild. It's wild. All right. And then, okay, well, now that you are not just, a Midwest farming aficionado and you could look at other areas, we were just talking about energy. Just flip the book, put all the clients, flip the book, long energy. Let's go.
Well, energy definitely looks like it's been basing for the past year or two, doesn't it?
Yeah.
See that ExxonMobil hanging in there, okay?
It led out of the COVID lows, and it's been taking, hesitating for a year or two. But all that looks like is just a perfectly normal correction.
You think these energy stocks can go without oil going too, or does oil need to get to 100 for these energy stocks to really get going?
I think oil needs to go too, but I think it looks like it's poised to. Glancing at it.
And then we're getting a lot of calls about uranium. You ever look at these things, or you're not Canadians? No, it's a Canadian thing.
Yep.
Yeah. No, that's fair. All right. So why don't you talk to me about some of the conversations that you're having with your new clients? Like, they're very, very. First of all, how long have you been an advisor now, technically?
Well, I just took a position 3 weeks ago.
I
am fresh on the ground, boots on the ground, and really doing a lot of getting used to the new firm that I'm at. So.
Are you talking with clients yet?
Yeah. Yesterday, I went with another senior advisor and spent the whole day on the road and met with 8 clients, jam-packed day, a little turn and burn down to Springfield, Missouri, about 3 hours south of here. So
what's everybody talking about? AI?
Yeah, I was going to say, what are they talking about?
How advisor clients are. They're talking about their portfolio and how much money we can make them or don't make them. It's funny, after spending, 8 hours yesterday with 8 different sets of clients, I don't recall one question about one individual equity. And the shop that I am at now, we believe in active management. We're not a 60-40 shop. We don't keep money parked. We're intermediate term trading in and out.
Well, it sounds to me like that's why you're there.
Exactly. I feel like it's
sounds like you're right at home.
Match made in heaven.
Yeah, that's right.
Nope.
Okay, so that's interesting. So you met with 8 different clients. Are they high net worth? Are they ultra high net worth?
Some of them are pretty much all high net worth, not ultra high net worth yesterday.
What's the definition of high net worth?
Oh, I think 2 or 3 million or above.
So if you have less than 2 million, you're not high net worth?
I don't know actually the correct terminology, how they look. I think it's the potential too, depending on, if you're less than 2 million and you're 70 years old, that might not be considered high net worth. But true. if you got 500,000 and you're 40 years old and you and your spouse are both making 6-figure jobs, there's potential high net worth there. So
got it. And then what's ultra high net worth? 10 plus?
I would think 10 and above.
10 and above. Interesting.
Nope.
In liquid assets.
Yeah. But a lot of the clients around here, the firm too, is a lot of business owners too. So
what are people worried? What are people scared about?
Same thing as everybody else. The economy flattening out in politics. I had more questions about what do you think about the election and politics. And
are they a bunch of Republicans? They're all Republicans, aren't they?
It's funny because when you're in the wealth advisory space, you can't judge a book by its cover. Because if you make one slip up on what kind of politics they have, your chance of having them as a client or keeping them as a client is gone out the door with this.
Did you just not mention it at all?
You try not to. As I've always said, you try to stay neutral. I kind of brought up the point that, in 2016 when Trump got elected, we heard the market was going to collapse. In 20, when Biden got elected, we heard the market was going to collapse. You know, you always say the market's going to collapse, but yet it just keeps on trucking along.
Okay, so they're scared about the economy and they're scared about politics.
No.
What is it about the economy that they're scared about?
Oh, just what they, you know, watch on the news constantly. You know, I think you had Kush on a week or two ago. Shout out Adam. And he kind of brought it up too. I think a lot of times when people get retired, if they don't pick up a hobby and they don't stay active, they end up on media too much.
It's a great point.
Yeah. And I just think it's so there, it's concerning. It's, I can tell you about all the good stuff happening. It's all bad stuff, right? So,
well, what are they excited about out of curiosity? Okay, so they're scared about politics. They're scared about the economy. What are they excited about?
Pretty much, they're excited about the fact that they've gone a decade or two at their age to have safety and be able to pull 5 or 6% in a safe reason. So that's it's not that they're excited. It gives them a peace of mind,
Get that.
And I'll be the
Makes
first
a lot
one
of
to admit,
sense.
I'm learning a lot after trading futures for 2 decades. I'm learning a lot more about fixed income now and how we use that in portfolios and how it can offset.
That's the top. That's the top in rates. If Neil Blalock is excited about yields in the bond market, that's it. That's the top.
Yeah,
Buy
we're
bonds. Done. That's it. Go out as far as possible. Just flip the book long TLT. Am I wrong?
Don't buy a house yet. The rates are going to collapse again, right?
Dude, Neil Blalock. I never thought I'd hear this. Neil Blalock.
I never thought I was
excited about yields.
You like bonds?
You're like a new man.
Do you like bonds here, Neil?
I mean, I don't know if I like bonds right here. I mean, it looks like they're breaking out, but
which bonds? Bonds is a very
yeah. I mean, it looks like the 10-year rate is going to break out, so you can't be too thrilled about bonds right here. But it's different. We're not trading bond ETFs too. We're actually buying bonds for income. So. And
then what kind of duration are you? How far are you going out?
Oh, usually it's 3 to 5, I believe.
3 to 5 years?
Yeah, usually. Yep. But that's all something I knew too. So, we run a strategy here. We run 5 different portfolios, and it's all advised by the investment advisory committee made up of 13 people in shop. And one of the things that I'm going to be asked to do, haven't stepped in yet, is to start stepping in on that committee every Wednesday morning that helps make decisions on our portfolios. So I'm the first CMT in the office. So I think they're pretty thrilled for that. So
are they?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, they're technicians in themselves. They're active management traders. They look at charts and they also look at fundamentals, of course. So I think I'm going to be able to provide a perspective for them that they might not look at have in the past. So sector
rotation work, some top-down analysis like that.
I really think some top-down sector rotation, and then actually finding the strength within the strength.
So what sectors are they going to rotate into then, Mr. Sector Rotation?
Well, we haven't talked about that yet. And if I did, now see, here's the thing. Now I got this compliance guy down the hall now. JC, my life's turned upside down. I used to be my own compliance guy. So
I was going to say, how many daughters do you have? Sounds to me like your life was turned upside down quite a bit.
I got 3. My oldest one just turned a teenager last weekend. Thanks for bringing that up.
So your life's been upside down for quite some time now.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Are you retired? No more kids? You snapped?
Even my dog is a female.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's just you and 5 women?
Kids. No more kids. Nope. 5 women. A redhead, a blonde, and brunette. I don't know how I pulled it off. So.
God bless you, man. How much you benching these days?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, at least 450.
Stop it. I bet you could have probably put that up in your heyday, no?
No. I try to. I don't try to look at how much I can do max. I try to make sure I can do something at least 3 times. As we get older, we try to keep our strength. So
that's right. If you guys don't know Neil Blalock, Neil Blalock's built like a horse. I feel like just like such a small person when I'm with you. All right. What do you think people are not focused on? What do you think people are just ignoring altogether that you think we should be looking at?
That's a good question. It's funny. I don't think people focus on industrials enough. I really don't. I think the move that people have talked about from the value standpoint is more spoken about energy because it was what was making the news. When industrials are also, I think the actual building going on, across the world right now, industrials stocks have been very strong. I mean, I think we just had the XLI at a new all-time high, 3 weeks ago?
They've been better than energy stocks, and you could even make the argument that they've been better than tech stocks. Industrials have been incredibly strong.
Yeah, yeah. Over the past year, I wouldn't disagree with that at all.
What do you like within industrials? Any particular groups? Any industries?
Oh, I haven't looked into that too. I mean, Caterpillar would definitely be my first one.
Yeah, Cat looks great here.
Yeah, Cat looks really good. Other than that, I mean, I haven't looked at too much else besides that. When we do a play on industrials, usually it's an ETF space. So
My kind of guy.
Hey,
the
Spencer, how are you?
the industrial sector closed at new all-time highs last month. Held in pretty good this month. I've got to tell you that.
And industrials right now, as of I think it was yesterday or the day before, all of the sector indexes, large, mid, small, equal weight, back above their highs from 21, 22.
Yeah, you look at that 21, 22. That just looks like a perfectly normal correction too. It broke out, and now we retested it, and there's your equal weight you just put up too. That looks even better.
Textbook pullback, right?
Yeah, that looks beautiful. And look at there, you got perfect risk management right there. I might have to bring that up to the guys in the IAC next week.
This is now at the sector level. Like, this is the group right now. Tech is still dealing with a lot of overhead supply, like JC knows we talk about here all the time.
I mean, you can argue industrials to a certain extent are still working. This is a good example. I mean, this could easily fail too, but I would say, just generally speaking, industrials are still working on absorbing that overhead supply as well. It's not blue skies yet, right?
I like
that's how I look at it.
Neil,
when are you coming out to New York? Does your new firm let you out of Missouri, or is compliance that a no-no?
Well, I'm actually across the state line in the no man's land, JC. I'm in Kansas now. I'm on the wrong side of the state line here in Kansas City. So
don't you live like 10 minutes from there or something?
Yeah, I'm 20 minutes away. Minutes away. No, I'll be at the symposium next year. I can't wait. Looking forward to it.
New York? Are we doing it in New York?
Do we know yet? I don't think we even know
I don't think we know yet.
Maybe
it's in Missouri. I don't know.
There you go.
Well, I doubt it.
Hopefully not DC. I really don't feel like going to Washington DC 6 months before the election.
I don't hate DC. I like visiting DC and then getting the hell out of there.
Yeah.
A couple days in DC. Go have dinner in Georgetown. Filomena, the Italian joint in Georgetown. Their cavatelli. Oh, forget about it.
Well, you didn't take me there when I was there 2 years ago, huh? I missed out.
We were drinking too much. I can't think straight.
Oh, good.
All right, Neil, we'll let you go. Neil Blalock, always a pleasure, man. And we'll have you on again soon. Have a good one.
Thanks, Neil. Good luck at the new gig.
Say hello to the wife, JC.
I will. Adios.
All right.
Neil Blalock.
Always interesting when someone makes a mid-career pivot like that. I always love hearing about why. You know
why? Because it's probably less stressful, more scalable.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? His family was always like in the farming business as well. I think they started getting a little bit out of that over the years, if I recall, with some conversations. So it's kind of been a transition for him over some time. It wasn't just like he woke up one morning and said, "Oh, I'm leaving futures and I'm moving over to the advisory side." It was like kind of like it's been a transition. And also he's a CMT and he's formally trained to look at equities and things like that. More so, he applied those principles to the futures market. So now he's going to equities. He's a nice asset to have, particularly for a firm that's more active. And also, if all these clients are farmers and, he knows all about farming, clearly I do not. I would make a terrible financial advisor in Missouri. I would suck at that job.
Yeah, not too many farms where I'm from either. So don't worry. You're not alone, JC.
We have palm tree farms down in Florida.
All right, you guys want to cover a couple earnings before Kimmy comes on?
Yeah, let's do it,
because we actually have a few today.
Give me a second. Slow down.
Okay.
I just scanned because of our conversation about industrials. I just ran a quick scan of all the industry groups. I'm simply looking for relative strength over the past month, because that's the market's been selling off really all throughout August. The best subsectors: engineering and construction, positive over the past month. Business equipment, staffing, JC. We were talking about with that Broadridge, right? And
I love how we call it, because I'm always JC staffing companies.
Staffing. Yeah, because they're a lot less industrial, right? They're really.
No, I know. But for like people who might be new to the show, they're like, JC likes staffing stocks.
Oh yeah. Loves them.
We always laugh that they just throw the staffing companies into the industrial sector because they don't know where else to put it.
Yeah, I mean, business support services, the same thing. This is stuff like Cintas, Copart, Equifax, right? Who's Allen Hamilton? So then, what? Diversified industrials, industrial distribution, airports, and then the weakest ones, airlines, infrastructure, pollution, integrated shipping, and logistics. So interesting.
We haven't talked about it all, and we don't have to do it right now, but like cruise lines, tough month, but really good year for cruise lines. I had forgotten about them. Anyway,
they doubled in price.
I know, pretty wild. All right, let's do a couple earnings here, and then we'll get Kimmy on. Let's start with Dollar General.
What happened to our earnings bumper?
I didn't forget. I was just getting ahead. Right. DG is your big loser of the morning, down 17%. This has to be a good sign for the consumer, right? They're not shopping at the dollar store. I feel like that's a good thing. I don't know. Anyway, EPS missed badly. You can see it on the screen there. Sales also missed. Same-store sales actually down year over year, down 0.1%. And then they lowered their guidance for the year as well. And they lowered their sales growth outlook for the year. Basically, just nothing good. No good headlines this morning for DG. So that's why it is down 17%, and it is your big loser of the morning.
Is this good for the? Is this good? I don't know.
I feel like it's got to be.
No,
this is my daughter's favorite store.
No, it's not. I wouldn't overthink that.
Yeah, I wouldn't overthink that.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's if anything, it's just a good example of why we don't own these sorts of stocks that have already broken support. Bad news tends to come out in the direction of the underlying trend, which has been down here, completing a top. So this is, if anything, this is just a good lesson for all of us. None of us here own it. Hopefully nobody here watching owns it. And we could just use this as an educational, a learning moment to be like, this is why we don't buy these things.
You took the words right out of my mouth. These earnings reactions tend to occur in the direction of the short-term trend, which is undeniably lower here. And I just looked at Dollar Tree too. You could punch that up, DLTR. Ugly tops, maybe not as bad as Dollar General, but these companies clearly as a group going through some growing pains here because they've been leaders. If you zoom out enough, these have been good stocks to own in the retail space.
Are they blaming shrinkage?
You know what? I was just looking, JC.
I don't think so. Everything costs $1 there. So what are they going to steal?
You got to steal a lot of shit.
You got to steal a lot of shit, man. I don't think so.
No, they could do the smash and grabs, JC. You never know. You never know.
The whole blitz strategy of shoplifting, just attack. That's aggressive. It's an aggressive move. I've seen like YouTube videos about it.
I told you it's crazy. Can we talk?
I'm not going to shoplift. That's not good.
Can we talk about Salesforce?
Sure.
Yeah. Please. I heard they're going to cancel their conference in San Francisco.
I did not hear it. I did not hear that.
If the city doesn't get their shit together, they're going to cancel it. And by the way, I used to live out there. It's a big deal. Like I have friends that work at Salesforce in Australia, and they would fly in, and like I would meet them for a football game.
Yeah, it's a huge deal.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. They might be canceling it for other reasons. It seems like they're really cleaning up their expense lines.
Yeah.
Chart looks good here. Big beat, but if you look, this is a mature company beat.
Yep. You took the words out of my mouth. Yep.
What does that mean? Can you explain to me, like I'm 3 years old, what does a mature company beat mean?
When you're this big and you got $8.6 billion in quarterly revenue, right? Eventually that revenue growth starts to plateau. This company was growing at 20, in the past 30% back in the day with these earnings reports. Now they're putting up 10%. I think it was 11% revenue growth. What they do then is to still make sure that they're, driving earnings growth and beating on the bottom line is they clean up the expenses. So their profit margins are just blowing out now. Mm-hmm. So their revenues are slowing. So they're saying, okay, how do we keep growing earnings? Now we got to look to expenses, clean all that up. And a lot of these companies, from being the biggest, best companies in the world for so long, are really fat. And there's a lot that you could trim.
It's really interesting. So they cancel the conference, blame the homeless people.
Right.
They're going to save a ton of money.
Look at the profit margin chart. I brought along a profit margin.
bad idea.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, look at that thing.
This is what we're talking about, right? So the revenue growth plateaus. So you would think, oh, that's going to be tough to beat. No, these companies have all these levers that they could pull. Now they're just, cutting expenses, and their operating margins are just blowing out. It's great.
And if they just change their conference, instead of San Francisco, which is super expensive, move it to like Texas or Florida or somewhere, cheap.
Oh, I thought you were
right?
saying.
How much money?
I thought you were saying Oakland.
Come to Florida.
Oakland's not that cheap, man. I mean, Oakland might be, but East Bay in general is not.
Florida's open for business.
No, I mean, listen, if they move it to Texas or Florida, they're going to save a lot of money. What about Arizona? Arizona's cheap too, right?
Arizona's hot. Arizona's hot these days.
I don't think they have enough hotels though. It's a big conference.
I've never been to Arizona.
You never been to Arizona? It's all right.
All right.
If you like the desert vibe and stuff like that, like it's fine.
Yeah.
It's cool if you're from Florida because it's so different.
Yeah.
Agreed.
They got like cactuses and shit. It's crazy.
I'll get out there.
Snakes.
Anyway,
yes.
They
So
do have
Salesforce
snake issues. They really do. That's not even a joke.
Salesforce is up 6% this morning. Everything Steve said is correct, right?
Not a lot of cobra snakes in Greenwich, Connecticut.
No, but we got some stuff down here. No, but interesting report, right, Spencer? I thought that was really good for them. And they're making a big bet on AI now, so we'll see.
Yep.
Should we also report it today? This is a bummer. I like the company, but you can't touch this chart right now.
All right, wait. Let's get there's a Chewy chart. Fine. It's down 7% this morning on their report. Can we bring Kimmy on?
Bring her on.
All right, Kimmy's here. She made it through storm. Clearly, because she's here with us. So let's see if we're all good. I think we are.
Kimmy.
Hi.
Here with a different camera angle. Loving it.
Well, but the problem is that I'm in like the back of the kitchen, so I got like stuff back there.
That's all right.
So now I got to figure out. I'll go to like the bar area next time. I have to like move around my laptop. Then I have to come back to my seat.
Kimmy, how's the storm? You okay? Everything good?
All good. Thank God. Kind of like blew through, but we kept waiting. I mean, yes, it was very windy, rainy, obviously, but thank God.
Some wine, some Monopoly, some Scrabble. You're good to go. No big deal.
Yep. We had a busy household here.
Good. Not a lot of hurricanes in Long Island.
More importantly, JC, you know how you said you love candy? I love look how big my jelly belly beans.
Oh my
and then I love chocolate chips. Okay, so I don't mean to promote, but you got to make this Betty Crocker 3 ingredients. It's the best.
How much are they paying you for this?
It's like a brownie of a chocolate chip.
Kimmy's like thin and good shape, so they're like, let's sponsor Kimmy to promote the chocolate chip cookies because people are gonna think that this is how, right? All right. Yesterday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 winners, 2 losers, 5 for 7. Nice day. Moderna, Upstart, John Deere, all long, Tesla long, First Solar long, a couple of small losses in Microsoft and Coinbase. 5 for 7. Solid, Kimmy. For a slow week, you continue to be active, looking for opportunities. Can you talk to me about snow? What's happening here?
Yeah, it started to break through. I mentioned in the room yesterday. It went yesterday. I was looking. I said, "Hey guys, if anyone had an interest, I was going to stop there." I said it started to move like around 11 something at 155, like 22 or so. I was saying you could potentially get a move up to like 155, 80 or 90. And then it kind of blew through and went above 156. So I'll see how it hangs on. Listen, they had earnings last week. Wasn't great. It's a very choppy trader. A lot of movement in it. I mean, look at the wide bar in it every time it moves. I mean, it moves like 3-4 points. So, you got to be willing to trade. It is aggressive name. So I'll see how it hangs on. Maybe it gets another bounce. I have to see where it's indicated and if it's gapping too much or not in the morning. So
yeah, back up towards 46, 47, back to those former support levels from July.
Yep. I mean, listen, it could roll back over. I mean, look at John Deere yesterday. Traded that. I was trading it up to the 200-day. It broke through the 200-day and flew. I mean, that name went up like 5 more points.
It looks like it's still got another 10 points of upside.
Right. So you never know how a name is going to handle that area. You know what I mean? You don't know how it's going to handle. Is it going to push through and then flop, or just not even go through that level, or go straight through and keep going?
Let me ask you this, Kimmy. So this is one of the slowest weeks of the year, bearish month, all these things. Are you impressed with the strength of the market, or don't overthink it?
I don't overthink it. I mean, this is what they do. People love to come in and buy. I mean, this is like typical holiday week. They probably want to close it strong. We have, we have a gap on the SPYs and the Qs. SPYs at like 455. They might close that potentially over the next 2 days, today and tomorrow. I think we have like 380 on the Qs. They like to keep everyone happy going into the weekend. I mean, listen, you never know what the market over time goes up, but now we have September, which is typically the worst month of the year. August was pretty, we had a nice contraction, but we'll see what September does. Maybe it doesn't live up to its name. Maybe it's fine. We just have to go with price.
And is tomorrow half day or is tomorrow full day?
Full day.
Full day.
It's just humans.
You know,
humans take the half day.
Yeah, I'm not finding much I love. Like, I scrolled through names. It's even yesterday. I mean, we had some trades, but it's all week. It's really been like pulling teeth. It really has.
Does your husband play golf? Does he play golf, Kimmy?
No.
He does not? Do you play golf? You definitely don't play golf.
No.
I'm playing golf tomorrow for like the fourth, time.
Are you off?
I'm very excited. I'm not a golfer.
You're not?
No.
So you won't be on tomorrow.
I will play tomorrow. I will be on the course eating hot dogs and drinking beers.
Kimmy, he's not a golfer. He's not a golfer who golfs. He's not a golfer.
You won't be on tomorrow.
I will be on tomorrow morning. I'm not playing golf until afterwards, right? Give me some time to go take some hats,
I might as well just shut it down tomorrow, but we'll see what goes on.
You say that all the time, and then you put on 4 or 5 trades anyway.
Because I'm a junkie. That doesn't mean everyone should go do that.
All right. Kimmy runs a live trading room every single day, even on the days that she doesn't want to trade. She trades anyway. She live trades through the open and into the day for several hours. She's calling out her trades as she's making them. If you want to be there with her, it is a premium service. Use the link on the bottom of the screen. It's also in the chat and the description. Check it out, Day Trader Pro. Kimmy, have a good one. Go make some
Good
money.
luck, Kimmy. Go get them.
Have a good one.
All right. Glad that everything worked out with the storm, because I know we weren't quite sure there for a second how hard she was going to get hit with that. But
it's one of those things. It's like non-farm payrolls and stuff like that. It's like they only exist to keep journalists employed.
No, they exist to keep weathermen. Come on, JC. Come on.
Weathermen are a type of journalist.
I don't know.
Speaking of, should we talk about the PCE?
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
What happened?
Yeah, we had core PCE out a little while ago.
Oh, I thought this was a ticker symbol. Never mind.
No. I have to go look at the numbers.
I thought it was like an energy stock that you got.
I didn't retain the information. There it is. Came in looks like a little bit light. Personal spending, personal income 0.2% versus 0.3%. Spending was a little bit more.
Hold on, what is PCE? Can you explain this to me? Personal.
What is it? Consumption expenditure.
Personal consumption expenditure.
Expenditure. Yeah.
What does that mean? How much consumers are spending, or is this a manufacturing thing?
It's CPI. Same thing. Just a different data source.
Is it also correctly calculated like CPI, or is this one?
People say it's actually calculated slightly better. It's probably why the Fed doesn't use it.
So it sucks less.
A lot of people will pay attention to PCE instead of CPI, but they're both just inflation numbers.
And how's inflation doing then?
I didn't even look.
Spending came in higher than estimates, 0.8 versus 0.6. So
there was an article in the Wall Street Journal this morning about how spending had to have blown up this month, but we just don't know yet.
Blown up like in a positive way, like in a good, like up.
Yeah. People are spending money. The economy's good. I sent you guys that. What was it? Somethingflation.
Oh, what was it? Yeah, what was
it?
Funflation. So it's inflation on entertainment, and I know you guys are aware of this. Whether it's game tickets or concert tickets or flights, things aren't cheap these days. Vacations, but people are spending.
I got some pretty good prices for those tickets that I paid for all of us. They weren't that pricey. The key is to get the corner. Lower bowl in the corners is where you get the good deals.
See, I didn't think I did too bad. Like going to the Heat games earlier this year, I thought I got a deal. But then there have been other things like the Jimmy Buffett concert. I totally overpaid for. Billy Joel tickets were crazy.
You went to a Jimmy Buffett concert in the Keys, did you not?
Yeah, but dude, they were like, I think they were like $300 or $400. It was stupid.
Are you kidding me? Is that like going to a Bon Jovi concert in New Jersey?
In New Jersey, Bruce Springsteen, exactly right.
Well, that's why I went, guys, for the experience. It was a letdown.
That is hilarious. Can we got a question here about the seasonality. Jerry Carey says he thought that August would be the worst month for seasonals. Now he hears September is the worst. Why don't we just go to the data? Slide 1, Mr. Spencer Israel. Here we are in August. Not one of the better months, but September's worse. Right? September is by far the worst month.
The worst.
Yeah. September is worse, but October is the month where all the biggest crashes historically have happened.
That's why Jeff Hirsch always says, buy in October and get yourself sober.
Yeah.
It's really the end of October, though. Spencer makes a good point, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you X out those crashes, like if you X out 87 and 29
and 08
and 08, then the numbers aren't as bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Did we do all the important earnings, guys? Are we done?
We missed OKTA. That's kind of the big winner of the day. It's up 10% on their report. OKTA.
Software.
Yeah. What else did we have? We had OKTA. Let's throw that chart up for a second there. And we had OKTA and CrowdStrike were the two that I had.
So CrowdStrike's an exciting name.
What's exciting about it?
Oh, look at that OKTA. Ooh.
What?
What's exciting about CrowdStrike?
This is a fundamental favorite. CrowdStrike. Is this one of those Israeli names? I think this is.
Are you just trolling fundamentalists because this thing's down 60%?
It might be.
Just trolling the fundamental people. Haven't they had a hard enough time that you don't have to troll them?
Yeah, no. So this is cyber. No, I'm just saying people were excited about this one when it came public. I remember it well. It's building a nice base. It's getting there. Don't hate it.
Which one? OKTA?
No, OKTA's a mess. That's too gappy for me.
OKTA's a mess. CrowdStrike looks just like OKTA.
I know. I don't like all the gaps in OKTA's chart.
Okay, but OKTA and CrowdStrike look exactly the same.
I don't think they look exactly the same.
Oh, you don't? You want me to show you the overlay chart?
I wouldn't.
I don't think you want me to do that to you.
We're talking about two software stocks, so yeah, overlay them. Like,
all right. So what do you want? They both look like shit. I
not
don't understand. Were fundamental people not excited about OKTA when that went out?
Unbeknownst to me. Can we talk about Bitcoin?
Yeah, actually, real fast. Thank you, Adam. I don't know why we don't have the chart, but for some reason, Academy Sports is up 15% this morning. ASO on their earnings report. I guess there's no.
What is it? What kind of company is that?
It's Sports Authority. It's the same as Nick's Sporting Goods,
It's just smaller. You're
just smaller.
JC, but they have locations.
Long dicks.
Very interesting how this is the complete other way from the Dick's Sporting Goods report. That's interesting.
Hey. This one's got a really clean level too. Really just bouncing off a clear polarity zone here at the former highs. Do we have this chart?
No, we don't. Sorry, I didn't call it out.
This is the ASO.
ASO, yeah.
This
I'm gonna put it up. I got it here.
Up 15%. Wow.
Nice little dividend yield. The fundamentals have been declining.
Not last quarter.
How do you define fundamentals in terms of how you say that they're declining? What does that mean?
I'm looking at a annual or quarterly revenue segment chart right now. A bar chart showing their quarterly revenue every 3 months.
So that former resistance there, end of 21, what Strazza was talking about, you saw it last year too. That turned into support.
Yeah, I like that. Interesting. Bouncing right off that level. All right.
Pretty clean. All right. Before we get into Bitcoin, why don't we just check in on the markets? The market just opened. Dow futures up a little over 100 points. S&P's up 10 basis points, 15 basis points. NASDAQ up 20 basis points. U.S. Treasury bond futures up again today. 20 basis points on the 30-year futures. Crude oil up 1%. Copper flat, silver flat, gold flat, VIX flat. Yields down a little bit with the dollar index slightly higher. And that is the futures rundown of the day, brought to you by, we need a sponsor for the futures. Right?
Sure. Do you want?
Brought to you by Koifin.
You guys want to do hot corner?
Smartest get their charts.
Hey, you know what's leading again today?
What's leading again today?
Big cap tech.
Yeah, let them dance. Let's see what they look like at lunch.
You know,
Shopify's helping.
We should throw up like a sexy little heat map when you do your little thing in the morning. Some sort of visual, you know?
Okay.
No takers?
Perhaps.
A little
I don't know.
map or something?
I like heat maps, but I don't know. Maybe. All right.
Shall we,
hot
Mr.
corner.
Spencer?
Yeah, hot corner. Let's go.
Big moves.
Hot corner. So hot right now.
Anything good?
Yeah, we got it right here.
Not really. Throw up the table. So we've seen some of these before. Valve.
Man, you sound so depressed about this table. He's like, not really. Like, is it really that bad?
No, it's fine. We've seen Valvoline on here recently.
I was gonna say, what's your beef with Valvoline? That's like a Strazza stock.
No, it looks terrible right now.
Does it look terrible?
Listen, there are some nice energy and industrial stocks out there. Like,
I wouldn't say Valvoline looks terrible.
Listen, we were just talking about with Neil, and before he came on, we were saying, oh, there's some great setups in energy. There's a lot of good-looking energy stocks. Then he came on and talked about there's some great-looking setups in industrials. Whether you want to call this energy or industrial name, there's a lot better or far better charts out there in these groups.
Man, this looks pretty good.
Look, you know what looks good? The filing, right? We got some CFO activity here. That's always nice. So that stands out.
So it's the CFO. Strazza likes it when the CFO is buying.
Yeah.
But he didn't buy much. $500,000. That's not nothing.
There you go. Yeah. That's not bad, right?
No, that's not bad. What about these guys, Viking Global Investors? Who are these guys?
You don't know Viking Global? Big, long,
if
short.
I did, I wouldn't be asking who they are.
Oh, yeah. This is a big hedge fund, man.
It's a big hedge fund. So $10 million is not much.
These guys were some major players back in the day.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure.
Okay.
So Viking Global, 10 million, nothing for them. They're in the biotech. Okay. I like the Baker Bros. Viking's great too. How big is this INBX? I didn't even check.
$1 billion. A little bit under. It's fine. It works. There's nothing to do there though. It's a mess. Like you want to look at something that's a mess. This is a mess.
The best looking chart is Spectrum, right? We wrote about this one in Minor Leaguers. Follow the flow. Gosh, I forget. So many scans. But this one was coiling throughout July, breaking out here over the past few weeks. Looks really good. The CEO was the 4-4 filer in this one. $500,000, not bad.
This is a staple. Household personal products.
I think it's cosmetics.
They own I don't know any of these things. Nature's Miracle, Wild Harvest, Litter Maid, Jungle. I don't know any of these things. Healthy Hide. What are these things?
Is this makeup?
Good Boy, Maui, Wild Bird. I've never heard of any of these products.
Sounds like lotions and essential oils and that sort of stuff. But that's just what it sounds like. I don't actually know.
Usually, like I read a list of like, you know, brands and stuff. Like when I'm looking at like Louis Vuitton, Moët Hennessy, and like I know all these brands and stuff like that. Or like even when we look at Colgate-Palmolive or Procter & Gamble, I don't know any of these things that this company is involved with. Look at Rachel agrees, and Rachel's a mom, and you know, I feel like you would know more about these things.
Wait. Sean says they're pet supplies.
That sounds better. I was gonna say that.
I don't have any pet. I don't have a pet.
Me neither. I've never had a pet. So
you said something Hide or something.
It says home and personal care. Well, they have. First of all, it's home and personal care, global pet care, and then home and garden. So pets are just one of the things.
Good. All right. I'm into the pets. Pets are a big trend. Yeah, pet care business.
Yeah, bullish pets.
Kitchen. It's all sorts of stuff. Been around since 1906. Hey.
Really?
I know.
Yeah.
Strazza with the facts, fun facts.
Have you, speaking of like personal products or cosmetics, when's the last time you guys have looked at this ELF beauty chart? ELF?
Like the other week.
Dude, are these guys selling crack or makeup? How does this chart look the way it does?
Dude, seriously. What is going on here?
And I remember thinking this to myself 5-10 years ago, looking at Ulta's crazy uptrend back in the day. These makeup companies, don't ignore them. We've had some big winners.
The makeup business. Take a look at this. Look at slide 1 there, Spencer, so people can see what this ELF
stock
is
doesn't
doing.
go down. It's crazy. And they're acquiring somebody. Typically, when companies announce acquisitions, their stocks go down. They were ripping the other day on the announcement of some acquisition. So everything's working for these guys.
What did Strazza say? Are they selling crack or makeup?
I mean, that's yeah.
The company offers eye, lip, face, and paw skincare products.
Wait, you know what my theory is? We're kind of in the golden age of like influencer branded stuff.
How do you know? How do you know it doesn't get worse from here? How do you know that this
is definitely going to get worse?
Yeah, this is not.
All right. Well,
you're not a peak influencer yet.
Fine, but my point is, a lot of it is makeup, right? And like there are, I don't know, dozens and dozens of A-list celebrities that have their own makeup lines with huge followings, right? The Kardashians was valued at like billions of dollars, right? So like there's big money to be had here for celebrity branded makeup lines now.
I thought you don't need the makeup. The influencers just use the filters.
I don't know, man, but these plastic surgeries, did you see Jennifer Love Hewitt? Oh, no. I used to love Jennifer Love Hewitt. I had the biggest crush on her for so long. Have you seen what she looks like? No. She looks terrible.
Really?
Oh,
plastic surgery?
I don't know. Yeah, man. What are they thinking? She was gorgeous. I love Jennifer Love Hewitt, and I can't even look at her. Courtney Cox is another one. I used to love Courtney Cox. She looks terrible.
Her face does look a little.
You see Madonna? What are they?
Paralyzed.
What are these women thinking? I don't understand. I don't understand.
All right. Anyway, enough about that. Should we bring Sean on?
Bring on Sean.
All right. Options. We did talk about the Google trade a little bit earlier, but Sean can give, I think, a better explanation of it, a more detailed explanation of the thought process. So, options with Sean. Let's do it.
You just
Sean,
interrupted
baby.
me. You just interrupted me. I'm over here Googling images of Jennifer Love Hewitt to see what
Don't
she looks
do
like
it.
now.
Don't do it.
JC, I'm with you, man. I'm heartbroken. I, too, huge crush on Jennifer Love Hewitt back in the
Loved
day.
her, man. Loved her.
Yeah.
Okay, so yesterday we came in, not necessarily looking to just obnoxiously sell premium like we had over the last couple of weeks. We sold the puts in Microsoft. We sold did we sell Strango and Freeport? I forget, but selling premium and Freeport McMahon over the last couple of weeks. This week, not as aggressive, willing to, but not necessarily aggressive. We were talking about maybe Apple. I think Strazza maybe mentioned Apple, and I'm like, why would we buy Apple? Why wouldn't we buy Nvidia if we're going to go that route? And then Sean just came in hot, and Sean goes, I like Google better than all of them. And Strazza and I did not disagree at all.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, what are we doing for Google? You like the calls. You wanted to go to 160, but I like the 150. Can you talk about the thought process of the balance between the 25 delta calls, which were the 160s in March, versus choosing a strike at the target? Can you talk about that thought process?
Well, I liked getting the 150 calls versus the 160 calls once we threw into the mix that we were going to sell puts to help finance that purchase. I didn't want to pay the premium that the 150 calls were commanding. At the time, I think they were trading around 750-ish. Yep. And not that isn't, I mean, it's not a terrible price in options pricing terms. The volatility is actually very cheap. So 750 is a fair price for those calls, but I, like you, didn't want to pay 750 for it. But then we threw out, well, why don't we sell some puts to finance it? We've got a very clean risk management level to lean against to sell puts. So once we threw that into the mix, I was like, all right, okay. I like selling the one. I like buying the 150s and financing that purchase with the puts. And look, what you didn't talk about there in the setup is that we've been talking all week, or last 2 weeks, maybe last 3 weeks, about how we feel as a team that, generally speaking, the broader market is probably in for some sideways sloppy chop, right? We expect that to continue for the next few weeks, and I still expect that to continue. However, JC, with the action we've seen in the broader indexes this week has at least put me in the mood, or not the mood, but keeping me on my toes thinking, hey, maybe the resumption out of this sloppy mess is going to happen sooner than we think. I'm not saying it's going to, but putting this Google trade on for me is almost like a hedge against being wrong on this sideways slop.
Well, let me just rephrase that. First of all, I don't think the mess is over. Number one. Number two, although we've been approaching the market that it's a seasonally weak period, the largest components of the S&Ps, healthcare and technology, are stuck below overhead supply. As long as that's the case, messy for longer remains the case. Even though we've been saying that for a month and a half or so, or whatever it is, my bet was that there's going to be monster strength at the individual stock level and even at the sector level. So we've been looking for individual names versus trading the indexes. Not that we trade the indexes all that much anyway, but this, I think, is just a great example of an individual name with a very favorable risk versus reward proposition. And another thing that I like about selling the 125 puts is that if we close below 125, we're unwinding the trade. That's the stop. We completely get out of the trade. But what I like about that is that if we're below 125, I don't want to be long Google anyway.
Yep. It's very clean. We have no interest in being long below that level. So that's where we get out. And if we never pierce below 125 and Google just the breakout doesn't materialize it, or it just doesn't go as fast or as far as we want it to, the max risk we've got in this trade is $2. The most we can lose is $2. That's okay. I don't want to lose $2, but worst case scenario, that's where we're at. And to own 150 calls, which, by the way, we haven't talked about, we did this in March options. So it's going to cost us $2 to hold this trade all the way into March. I like our odds in that scenario.
I still don't forget the Google trade for a second. When you talk about buying the 25 delta calls, how do you balance, just in general, just blindly going after the 25 delta calls versus a specific target strike? Like, how do you think about that?
The way I think about it is I'm not so concerned about the target strike. I don't think there's any magic in selecting that strike as the strike to get positioned in. I think of it, and I'm not saying this is the right way, JC, this is just the way I do it, is I like the 25 delta calls because to me they offer the right balance between leverage and affordability if I get it right. Or I should just say leverage when I get it right. So if I get it right and the stock rips, I'm going to make, 3, 4, 5x my money on that trade. If I don't get it right, well, the 25 delta calls didn't cost a whole lot. They were sufficiently far enough out of the money that I wasn't paying too much for those calls. So the affordability angle comes into play if I'm wrong. So look, some people might say buying the 30 delta calls are better, or buying the 20. We could, there's no magic in 25, but just generally speaking, that amount of distance away from the market gives me that right mix of affordability and leverage.
Why don't we fast forward into next week, Labor Day behind us. My suspicion is that next Wednesday markets are probably going to be right around here. I'm not expecting much action. I'm going to play golf tomorrow, Sean. Not a lot of golfing happening these days. between.
I haven't played golf at all this summer. I'm ashamed of this.
I know, but how much golf do you play on a normal summer?
I mean, I get out 4 or 5 times in a typical summer.
It's more than I thought. I would have guessed 1 or 2. Okay. All right. I see you. I'm not expecting much. I've been down this road before where anybody who matters is on vacation and I'm not for whatever reason. In the old days, because I didn't have any money. And these days I have 3 kids. So where am I going? I used to because I was working, I would force trades that weren't necessarily there. I used to think that if I wasn't trading, it's because I wasn't working hard, none of that is true. So just let this be a friendly reminder of a lesson that I definitely learned the hard way, that just because you're at your desk, just because you're working, doesn't mean you need to be initiating transactions, right? You cannot put on a trade and still be working hard, right?
Yeah. This time of the year, the last couple of weeks of August and the last couple of weeks of December, to me, are like the 2 times of the year where you need to be at your desk because you never know what can happen, but it really pays to just sit on your hands and not be too aggressive because moves just tend to be false in most cases.
So fast forwarding to next week, assuming market does nothing over the next several days, how are you approaching it in a similar way to we did to our conversations yesterday, you think?
I mean, my first impulse right now is still to be looking for delta neutral trades. I want to be collecting premium until the market changes character for real. I mean, it's showing hints right now, JC. I'm not going to lie. My spidey senses are paying attention closely to what's going on in the broader index.
Oh, your spidey senses. Oh, I see. Oh, I didn't realize that you had spidey senses.
Yeah, that's my superpower. So don't knock it till you've tried it. But my general feel is I'm still on the hunt for delta neutral trades. That might change once we get into that. Probably will change once we get into September. But for now, that's where my head's at, and that's where my head's been at for the last 3 weeks. I'm kind of a broken record in that regard.
Yeah. Are you mostly putting on these delta neutral positions because you don't have many of them, and you're looking to diversify, or is this specifically a stock market phenomenon
That's a good question, and that's how it started, right? When I first put a couple of these on, it was because, hey, I didn't have any of these trades on, and my portfolio could definitely benefit from having this diversification. So that's how it started. Now, the market is rewarding these types of trades, and so if something's working, you want to do more of it, right? So I've been doing more.
Sounds like Strazza just got filled on something that's been working. Do I have that right?
No, that was my cat hitting my keyboard. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Wait. Well, I can't believe you didn't know what Nature's Miracle is, Strazza.
What is that?
That's when we used to have cats. We don't have cats anymore, but when we had cats, we had Nature's Miracle on in full supply in my house at all times. It's a good cleaner for cat messes.
Oh, okay. Never heard.
Might be the best, actually.
Speaking of cat shit, we're getting a question on Polygon. Throw up the Maddox. Spencer, there's slide 1. How's that Polygon trade looking like? I don't know. Pretty terrible. Right? I mean, what are you seeing here? Investing heavy? I got nothing. This thing's dead. What do you think, Strazza?
Yeah, it looks like a sideways nothing.
Looks like a sideways nothing.
We looked through all the altcoins yesterday and the day before looking for trade opportunities. And really what you're getting there is maybe some well-defined or clearly defined levels to trade against, like old lows, but none of these really look good. Matic, if you remember, not long ago, I think just earlier this year, was like one of a very small list of good-looking ones in the altcoin space, and now it looks like this. So,
Hey, I know how we feel around here about log scale charts. We prefer log scale charts, but in this particular case, I'd be very interested to see what a non-log scale chart looks like.
I mean, I can do that for you if you want.
I don't know. I just feel like it might look a lot different.
No, not really. I mean, I could show that to you right now. Why don't you show an interesting look? Strazza, you'll appreciate this one. This is Polygon with the ETH BTC ratio overlaid over it.
Pretty tight.
What do you think about that?
I think it speaks to altcoins outperforming, right?
It speaks to altcoins outperforming.
Ethereum is an altcoin, which you have in the numerator of that ratio.
Yeah. So got it. So you're saying the absolute performance of Polygon is
It's just a lot of times these ratios come down to the beta of the assets that you put in the ratios, right? ETH is giving you more juice than Bitcoin. So in bull markets, it's going to look more like the altcoins on absolute basis.
take a look at the arithmetic scale chart there on Polygon for Sean. And Sean, this is why we use log charts. Go ahead, Spencer. Show him the nastiness.
Let me see that nastiness.
Well, there's a reason. You can't see what's going on at the bottom of the chart, right?
Yeah.
So now show the log scale. And so you see why we look at the log scale, because you can actually see what's going on there at the bottom of the chart. Show him the log scale, Spencer. Come on. Give it to him.
Hit that button. There
Come
it
on.
is.
Come
Nope,
on,
that's not the
Spencer.
button.
Oh, next slide. Sorry.
There we go. So look at the log scale, right? Big difference. You know, because you can actually see what's going on there at the bottom of the chart. If it was a linear scale, you know, it just looks like a flat line. So,
Well, thanks for doing that. I was just curious to see what that looked like. I wanted to see if it gave us any new information. It did not.
It gives
Thanks
us
for
less,
playing.
actually.
Thanks for playing along.
Listen, Sean, that's why I'm here. I'm here to make you happy, baby. You know, you bring so much joy to my life. That's the least I can do for you.
Guys, I don't know.
Joy. I don't think I bring joy. I think I bring even-handedness. I don't bring all the energy that you bring to these strong opinions about, you know, people in the hot corner with their piker trades. You know, I just kind of keep it calm and keep it collected over here.
Sometimes they're just piker trades. What do you want from me? You know what I mean? If a CEO really wants to put some serious dough behind a stock, maybe he should put more than $100,000 behind it, huh? Especially if he's worth 25 million.
Guys,
Does that make me a bad person?
no. We know how you feel, JC. If I
Sorry, I
told
didn't mean to wind them up.
listen, stop. We got some action. Have you guys been tracking these short interest names?
Well, I saw the scan yesterday. Give me one that stands out before recess.
Carvana. They're squeezing them again. I mean, it's crazy. And just look at all the cryptos on this list. Throw up the table. Throw up this list.
There's that black screen of death that Spencer loves.
The Carvana chart's nice. You see Carvana here at number 4 with like a high 30s short interest.
And what's the short ratio there for Carvana?
And go back to the table.
Cover.
Can you read that? It's not much, right? 2?
2 days to cover.
Huh. Yeah, you like to see a big days to cover. Really what that's telling you is based on the short interest and the average volume.
But there's a lot of volume these days.
Yeah, what it's telling you is how long it's going to take all these shorts to cover in the theoretical situation if they all
if every share covered at the same time, given the average volume.
So I don't know if anything stands out to you. I mean, we were talking about guests the other day. Surprising to see a retailer that high on the list. The guest chart is definitely interesting. Maybe that explains some of that big move the other day. But as you go on down the list, a couple of our favorite crypto names are in here, which is nice.
Which ones?
Mara's in here. MicroStrategy a little bit down the way. Coinbase, relatively smaller short interest than usual right now. Which
Marathon up another 2% today, pushing up against the highs from the week. Before we get into some recess, look at the Dow up 30 basis points, up a little over 100. S&P's up 20 bips. NASDAQ up 30 bips. Bonds up again. Gold flat. Silver down 50 bips. Copper down 40 bips. Oil down. Oil up 1.3%. Rates down a little bit. VIX down a little bit. Dollar up a little bit. I mean, I should just leave and go play golf now. There's nothing happening, man. There's nothing. Can we go to recess?
Yeah, I'm ready. I got some trades.
I got a good one for you, Strazza.
I bet you do.
So the Catalina Fish Market in San Diego, they deliver fish to your house. I placed a nice order last week. You know, a lot of the usual stuff, some salmon, some tuna. I got some uni. It was delicious. Strazza,
It looked good, man. It really did.
The tuna belly
Yeah.
was. My wife got mad at me because I was being so annoying because I was slicing the sashimi. I'm like, you need to try this. She's like, I told you I don't want to try it. I'm like, 2 minutes later, I'm like, you really should try this. Like, it's really, I'm trying to be a good husband. Like this, it was ridiculous to the point where I felt guilty that she wasn't eating it and I was eating it all. And she got mad at me because I was being so annoying about it. I was like, all right, I'm only doing this because I love you. But all right, I'll eat the whole thing. So I did.
Do we have pictures or no pictures?
I did not take any pictures, actually. I did
send
send you some pictures of the uni.
But not the tuna. So it comes frozen, though?
It did come frozen, yeah.
And you just thaw it out?
Thawed it out in the fridge, yep. And then slices of sashimi, little wasabi, some soy sauce. Woo! It was unbelievable, Strazza. Like, so good. It's ridiculous.
That sounds
the
awesome.
Butter. It just melts in your mouth. Straight sashimi, not even nigiri, nothing. Just eat the damn fish.
All right, here's my shout out, or here's my thing for recess. Shout out to the local Department of Motor Vehicles here in Boulder, Colorado. As we know, I've lived in 4 cities in my lifetime. You guys have all moved around different places. One thing that you can always count on is the DMV is always the worst place in town, right? Always. It's the worst experience. It takes too long. There's weird, sketchy people hanging out. The DMV is always terrible. Well, I have to go to my DMV today to get plates for my car. And guess what? The DMV here, new process, they only accept appointments only. You can only show up if you have an appointment. You get to walk right in, get to take care of your thing, get to walk right out. I'll be in and out in 2 minutes. I don't know, guys. I'm very excited about this. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I'm very excited about this.
Yeah. My DMV here is not bad. There's a hack up north. I know you can go and do license things at the AAA. Anybody ever do that?
No. License things at the AAA? No.
You literally just like go right around the DMV.
Sean, we have that system in Jersey too. Don't worry, you'll still wait.
Yeah,
don't worry.
All right, so I've overhyped it, and I'm still going to be disappointed, which actually wouldn't surprise me at all, right? It's the DMV. Of course, it's going to disappoint me.
It's terrible. These people, they don't want to be there. They get paid nothing. They're just miserable. It's horrible.
I was in and out of mine the other day in 5 minutes.
I got owned when I went once without a form. I got sent home with my tail between my legs.
That's why I was out of there so fast the other day too.
Some of these are what we like to call small-minded people in a perceived position of power.
Anyway,
Coinbase chart. Real quick, this is my recess. I get a recess.
Sure, yeah.
These things look like they want to go. JC's saying he's going golfing. It looks boring out here today. I don't know. These crypto stocks, they ripped the other day on the Bitcoin fund news, and they've just been high and tight for the past few days.
I bought some. Listen, I'm in. I'm waiting to put on a bbig boy position. You know this.
Coinbase 85. I don't think you have to wait for the last summer or this summer highs to be reclaimed. I think you could jump this entry right here at 85. This base is
Look at us. We can't even wait for Crypto Friday. It's like a Crypto Thursday already over here. Look at us.
I know how you guys get ahead of a long weekend. There's that mythology about the wild crypto weekends when it's a long weekend.
Well, in the old days, we used to like slack each other, different trades on Saturday mornings. I remember going for a walk with my family, like buying like some random shitcoin because Strazza was pumping it in the morning.
All of the Bitcoin miners have flipped positive on the day. MicroStrategy's positive on the day. Bitcoin's still down about 60 basis points here. I think Bitcoin and Coinbase could be turning positive on the day soon too. Maybe you get some big moves here.
All right, bring your orange tomorrow, Spencer. Don't forget, I will be rocking my orange, maybe a little green to add to that orange. Right?
Because of Miami.
Or maybe because the orange things are green for the day. Or maybe both.
Hey, you guys are hinting at college football here. My Florida Gators open up against Utah tonight. You guys tuning in?
No.
Yes.
I will not be watching that. I will not be watching
Nobody
that
cares about the Who Gives a Shit game of the week.
No. Isn't that the one big game of the week or something?
It's the one
Miami
big game.
plays
Utah's
Miami
number 14
tomorrow.
coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sean, I know.
I'm ready for some football. I'll be watching.
I will not.
All right, that's a wrap for our show today. Here is our schedule for the rest of the day. Options Jam session with Sean at noon. Chart Request Live with Pat and Strazza at 1. So stay tuned for those shows. Thanks to our guest today, Neil Blalock. Thanks to Sean for hanging out. Thanks to Kimmy. Thanks to all of you. Hey, if you would want to do me just a quick favor and just hit that thumbs up button. We have 45 likes right now. No reason we shouldn't be at 150 likes a day on this show. It helps us in the eyes of YouTube. I don't know why, but it just does. So I'd appreciate all the likes. Thank you very much. And that's what I got. Go make some money. We'll catch you guys later.
Peace. Adios.
I can't take no